All right, y'all. So we are officially now in a government shutdown. So it started last night. I believe it was at 12 o'clock at night on the dot. And I want to walk you through what that means here. So let me start with this and just give you the general breakdown of exactly what's happening. So about 750,000 federal workers are going to be furloughed daily. 750,000. And there are still things that are considered essential that continue. So, for example, a bunch of military stuff, law enforcement stuff, border protection, air traffic control, critical healthcare stuff like the VA, like all that stuff continues. But a lot of stuff stops. So anything that's administrative in the government, anything that's clerical, any support roles, agencies like the Department of Education and Housing and Commerce, about, I think it's like half or so of the CDC and Health and Human Services. So a lot of people are furloughed. Like I said, nearly 1 million people are furloughed. Then there's also, people who still have to work, but then they don't get paid yet. And, in previous shutdowns, it's like when they got it all sorted out, there was back pay that was given and whatnot. I don't know if I trust this regime to do that. That's the first point. But this was all because they couldn't reach a budget deal. Now, remember, Trump's the president, so the Republicans hold the White House, the Senate, the House of Representatives, and they hold the courts, although that's not pertinent to this conversation. So they control every lever of government, and so this is 100% on them. Now, they need 7 Democratic votes, I believe it is, to get to the 60 votes that's needed for a budget deal. But the way that works in reality is that you now need to go to those Democrats and say, hey, what can we offer you in order to get a deal through? And Trump's reaction instead was, fuck you. And he literally said, go fuck yourself or something to that effect. We covered it the other day. It's something like go fuck yourself, he said to the Democrats. So it's like, okay, well, then I guess you got to try to figure this out all on your own. And here we are. So there was no deal that was reached. Literally the only thing Democrats are asking for is funding for the Obamacare subsidies, which would keep healthcare prices lower than what they would be otherwise. That's all they're asking for. And the reaction from the right has been to just flat out lie over and over and over and say stuff like, Democrats are demanding that we fund healthcare for illegal immigrants, and that's what they're stuck on, and that's what they're fighting. It's just a total lie. Like, it's literally just a complete and utter lie. It's not true at all, not even close to true. The subsidies do not go, and Medicaid under Obamacare, the expansion does not go to undocumented immigrants, but they just lie and run with it, and that becomes the talking point. And so you get, half the media landscape just regurgitating this lie, and then you get the other half going, that's not actually true. And here we are. The right bulldozes over the Democrats, and now we're officially in a government shutdown. So what does that mean, though? Because, obviously what should happen here is Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries, the Democrats, should really take a stand and should really use this moment to highlight how much of a rogue regime this is and to demand, hey, you need 7 of our votes. In order to get 7 of our votes, here's what we're demanding. Not only to keep healthcare prices lower and keep having the subsidies for Obamacare, not only that, I would also be demanding you can't continue to deploy the U.S. military against U.S. citizens. That's wildly illegal. That's fucking fascist dictator shit. Let's stop pretending like this shit is normal, right? Those are just 2 examples of things you can and should bring up. I mean, honestly, it should be a list of like 5 or 10 things that you bring up. But let's just start there, right? Well, guess what? Here is what's going to happen now. So listen to this. Just a momentary lapse in appropriations, a shutdown that lasts minutes or hours, would give Russell Vought the power to tell agency leaders to move past the usual furloughs, temporary non-duty and non-pay status, to RIFs, which is being permanently fired. Vought could choose the programs that the administration has been wanting to eliminate and give a very big haircut to others. The result would be a dramatic, instantaneous shift in the separation of powers. Let me underline this. While the purse is empty, the Office of Management and Budget, led by Russell Vought, who's a Project 2025 author, by the way, would seize the power of the purse from Congress. The administration could choose to prolong a shutdown for as long as it liked, through poison pills in the negotiations with congressional Democrats, and comb through the government to flatted programs it's been trying to cut. I think I'm supposed to say to flatten programs it's been trying to cut. With this prospect looming, the administration has little incentive to do more than shed crocodile tears over a shutdown. And then, when the shutdown is over, when the administration chooses to end it, those employees who were furloughed would come back on the payroll with back pay through a 2019 law. The employees who were RIFed would not. This would be an historic and incredible invention of a backdoor impoundment. OMB could prevent the administration of programs it opposes by gutting the government's capacity to administer them. The Trump team could kill programs unilaterally without the inconvenience of going to Congress. To top it all off, this would be perfectly legal. So, in other words, what it looks like they're going to use this shutdown to do is exactly what they did under Elon Musk and Doge. Now, for those of you who don't remember, we had Elon Musk at the beginning of Trump's time in office. We had Elon Musk unilaterally hack into U.S. government agencies. And he cut pediatric cancer research. He cut the funding for NOAA and the NWS, the National Weather Service. So now we get worse weather forecasts because not only did they fire people, they also cut the number of weather balloons that we have. He cut Meals on Wheels, the CFPB, which is the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, which protects you from getting scammed, nuclear safety officials. In fact, he had to beg the top nuclear safety official to come back, cut FEMA, the Department of Education, fired 83,000 veterans, shut 50% of the Social Security offices, fired 250,000 government workers overall, fired food safety inspectors and air traffic controllers, and they cut scientific research and medical research. And that's only some of it. USAID, which, by the way, there was an article that came out the other day from Nick Kristof in the New York Times that said 88 kids were dying a day because they couldn't get malaria medication and HIV medication. So what Trump is going to do is, in the same way that they illegally did these cuts under Elon Musk and got away with it, by the way, they retroactively approved a lot of the cuts. Now, they're going to do it again in a government shutdown. They're going to do it again in a government shutdown. Except this time, they have some sort of pseudo-legal framework. Not that it mattered because they did it when there was no legal framework. That's what happened. They did it when there was no legal framework and got away with it. Now, they're going to do the same fucking thing with a pseudo-legal framework. So this is how fucked everything is. This is how fucked everything is. And if you're a Democrat, the best thing you could do is be on them like a fucking hawk. And anytime they cut some shit, you scream bloody murder. Every single time they destroy the government. You have to point that out to the American people and say, look, they are destroying the government. They do not believe in having a functional federal government, quite literally. They're against that. They want a government so small you can drown it in a bathtub. Okay, well, there are consequences to that. Some of them that we just laid out for you here. So, in all seriousness, for the Democrats, they really are in a no-win position, right? Because if you give them whatever they want up front, which was what Schumer did the first time around, you give them whatever they want, and then you're giving them whatever they want, and you're not putting up a fight at all, right? So you're being weak. But if you pick a fight over this, which it's good that they are picking somewhat of a fight over this, although I'd fight a lot harder and pick many more issues, well, then they're just going to do more Doge-style cuts anyway. So they do the Doge-style cuts when they're illegal. They do them now in this pseudo-legal way with the government shutdown. And again, the only thing the Democrats need to do is you guys need to be screaming bloody murder at every turn. Now, by the way, I got to show you this because Russell Vought, again, Project 2025 author, who's the head of OMB, who's going to now basically take a fucking chainsaw to the government because there's the shutdown. Here's what he was admitting on TV, what he's about to do. Listen.
Estimate for us, give us some ballpark numbers here. We've already had some sizable reductions in force. Actually, there's a number 300,000 floating around for this calendar year. That may or may not be the right number, but that number is floating around. Now, if there's a budget shutdown, as our own chat program suggested, almost ineluctably will be a budget shutdown, then you have the authority to reduce the federal employee count by roughly how much?
Well, I'm going to let that those kinds of questions extend until tomorrow and the days after. Right now, where we are, we have hours to go before a government shutdown, and it can be avoided. And then we'll get in tomorrow. The preparation is all done. We have many options, but we're going to get in tomorrow and see where we are, and we're going to manage this shutdown and try to keep the American people from the havoc that the Democrats have caused on with their crazy demands. But let it be said, there are all manner of...
Literally, the one demand was don't cut health care. The one demand.
Authorities to be able to keep this administration's policy agenda moving forward, and that includes reducing the size and scope of the federal government, and we will be looking for opportunities to do that.
Do you understand what he's saying there? Putting it in simple terms, they are not negotiating in good faith. This is a purge. They're doing a purge of the government. All right, more. So here we have Trump, again, saying the quiet part loud and admitting it in the Oval Office. Listen to what he says here.
About the state of the Democrat Party when they have a 33% favorability rating on average in recent months, and they're willing to shut down the government over healthcare.
They are shutting it down. We're not shutting it down. We don't want it to shut down because we have the greatest period of time ever. I told you, we have $17 trillion being invested. So the last person that wants it shut down is us now. With that being said, we can do things during the shutdown that are irreversible, that are bad for them and irreversible by them.
You fucking idiot. You just said it. You fucking idiot. You just gave the game away. Oh, we don't want the shutdown. But by the way, a shutdown would be great. We'd be able to do a lot of things that we don't think we could do otherwise. It would be awesome. But we don't want the shutdown. Blame the Democrat. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? He's too stupid to be in this position.
During the shutdown that are irreversible, that are bad for them and irreversible by them. Like cutting vast numbers of people out, cutting things that they like, cutting programs that they like. And you all know Russell Vought. He's become very popular recently because he can trim the budget to a level that you couldn't do any other way. So they're taking a risk by having a shutdown because of the shutdown, we can do things medically and other ways.
He's literally just admitted we're going to cut stuff medically. We're going to cut healthcare. We can go in there and cut whatever the fuck we want. Oh my God. Oh my God.
They're taking a risk by having a shutdown because of the shutdown, we can do things medically and other ways, including benefits. We can cut large numbers of people out. We don't want to do that, but we don't want fraud, waste, and abuse.
Oh, he caught himself. We can cut all these things that they like medical things and whatnot. We can cut all that. But actually, no, what I really want, I want to make sure there's no waste, fraud, and abuse. You just admitted, oh, we're going to cut the things the Democrats like. We want to get rid of it. We want to cut the medical. We're going to cut the medical. But no, it's actually just about the waste, fraud, and abuse. Oh my God, bro. Oh my God. Guess what? He didn't just admit it once yesterday. He admitted it twice.
And so we're doing well as a country. So the last thing we want to do is shut it down. But a lot of good can come down from shutdowns. We can get rid of a lot of things that we didn't want. And
now do you understand what's happening? They are not negotiating in good faith. These are effectively terrorists. That's what they are. Hell-bent on destroying everything that works in the federal government. That's what this is.
They'd be Democrat things, but they want open borders. They want men playing in women's sports. They want transgender for everybody.
What? His brain just sputtered out and went back to his standard dumbass talking points. That's what that was. They want transgender for everybody. What does that mean? Oh my God.
They don't learn. We won an election in a landslide. They just don't learn. So we have no choice. I have to do that for the country.
In other words, I have to do this. The same Doge style cuts. We're going to do the same shit now. We're going to do the same shit now. So, this is insane what we're witnessing. This is insane. They're not negotiating in good faith. They don't care about having a government that functions. There's going to be 750,000 people who are furloughed. They're going to try to fire hundreds of thousands more on top of the 250,000 that Elon Musk fired. That's what they're going to do. Now, by the way, at the same time, Democrats are out there. And again, I don't want to give them too much credit because I feel like it wasn't enough to just make a big stink over them trying to cut the Obamacare subsidies. I like that ask. I think it's a good ask, but I really, really think they should have gone further. And I think they should have made a big deal about the, illegal invasion of the United States by Trump, right? Maybe make a big deal about illegally attacking Venezuela, going to war with Venezuela. No vote in Congress, no even argument that Maduro is a fucking threat to us in any way, shape, or form. Make a big deal about what the goal is now, that they were illegally cutting the government under Elon Musk, and now they're going to do it again this way. Pick a fight over all of it. Don't just fucking one thing. But as the Democrats are saying, hey, don't cut healthcare subsidies, here's fucking Trump's response. Ready? This is what Trump was doing. He posted this video.
Nobody likes Democrats anymore. We have no voters left because of all of our woke trans bullshit. Not even black people want to vote for us anymore. Even Latinos hate us. So we need new voters. And if we give all these illegal aliens free health care, we might be able to get them on our side so they can vote for us. They can't even speak English, so they won't realize we're just a bunch of woke pieces of shit, at least for a while until they learn English and they realize they hate us too.
So, as I pointed out, total lie. There's nothing in this about Democrats fighting for undocumented immigrants for getting health care. They just made that up. It was just completely and utterly made up. And this is what Trump's doing at the same time 750,000 government workers are about to lose their job. Does he look like he cares about bringing back those jobs for those people? Does he look like he gives a fuck? He doesn't, not even in the slightest. This is people's lives that we're talking about here. He doesn't care. He doesn't care. Here's what Chuck Schumer said after the first meeting with Trump. This is incredible.
I think for the first time, the president heard our objections and heard why we needed a bipartisan bill.
These two need to resign. I mean, it's really that simple. These two need to resign. You guys don't know what the fuck you're doing. You don't know what you're dealing with. You have no idea what you're dealing with. None whatsoever. You think you're equipped to lead this fight? You don't even know half the shit he's doing. Anybody who watches this show is more fit to be a leader because at least they know what Trump's actually doing and what they need to fight against. They don't know. They probably don't know 75% of the shit that he's doing. Oh my God. And this is what, I think he heard us. I think he understands us for the first time. And then meanwhile, he's posted fucking AI videos of them in sombreros and mocking them and fucking having them self-deprecate, calling themselves woke pieces of shit. Now, here's what Trump actually believes when it comes to government shutdowns. This was him under Obama.
In my opinion, I hear the Democrats are going to be blamed and the Republicans are going to be blamed. I actually think the president would be blamed. If there is a shutdown, and it's not going to be a horrible shutdown because, as you know, things will sort of keep
Well, it was a partial shutdown, right?
If there is a shutdown, I think it would be a tremendously negative mark on the president of the United States. He's the one that has to get people together.
That says it all, doesn't it? That says it all. But as I pointed out, he doesn't want to bring people together. He doesn't want a solution. He wants to fucking slash everything under the sun. Now, here is a super right-wing, hardcore corporatist Democrat. And here's what he's saying about this issue.
Hey, everybody. I'm still down here in Washington, D.C. The Senate just had a vote which failed, which means a shutdown at 12 o'clock tonight is very, very likely. And this is going to be very painful for a lot of people and very difficult. This whole idea of my way or the highway that the Republicans have been pushing is not the way to go. We've got to negotiate to try and keep the government open, or get it reopened, I should say. Number two, we've got to try and do something to keep the health insurance cost of people down. They're about to skyrocket because of the expiration of these premium tax credits. It's going to be very, very painful and very shocking for a lot of people all over the country. It's going to affect your health insurance premiums because more people that get kicked off their insurance because they can't afford it makes everybody else's health insurance more expensive. And the president and the White House have got to stop these unilateral cuts, this chaos they're trying to promote, and this idea that they're looking forward to a shutdown because they can do a lot of more cuts that they wouldn't be able to do otherwise. I'm very concerned about that. I did a post about that earlier today. So please, everybody, stay in touch, keep track of what's going on, follow what's going on. Let's work together to solve problems that face the people of the United States of America. Thanks.
So this is one of the most, if not the most, conservative Democrats in the House of Representatives, and he's saying in no uncertain terms, Republicans are saying my way or the highway, and all us Democrats are asking for is to still have Obamacare subsidies, so working families have lower health care costs, and they said no, and they fucking spit in our eye. And so, you know, this is 100% on them. Again, this is a Democrat who pisses me off on a daily basis. Tom Suozzi, right-wing Democrat, and probably votes with them some absurdly high percentage of the time. And even he's going, doesn't look like they're negotiating in good faith. Doesn't look like they give a fuck about healthcare costs or anything else for that matter. And so that's exactly right. That's exactly right. But what Democrats need to realize, they need to wake up and realize we're not in normal times. Like this is different from any other time in U.S. history. Because here you have a rogue, terrorist, fascist regime that actively wants to destroy the entire federal government. Does not care in the slightest about the immense pain and suffering they cause. They take glee at the 750,000 furloughs, and you're going to have the OMB director, Russell Vought, Project 2025 boy. He's probably going to try to fire hundreds of thousands of people on top of the 250,000 they already illegally fired. And so your job, if you're a Democrat, is to control the narrative. Your job is to go out there and let everybody know they're full of shit. They're fucking lying. They love the fact that there's a shutdown right now. They want your healthcare costs to go higher, which is why they're not giving in to our one demand, which is keep healthcare costs lower. This is who they are. This is what they believe in. This is what they're doing. And so you have to do that. You need to define the terms and the things you should absolutely be fighting for, not only lower healthcare costs, which I think is good, but also you should be fighting on no more of these illegal wars like with Venezuela. You should be fighting on no more illegally invading the United States of America. He's going full fascist, and you're not even using that as a talking point and a negotiating chip. You're not even bringing that up and reminding people how insanely fascist and extreme this regime is. It's totally and completely unacceptable. So make no mistake about it, y'all. They were going to do these cuts regardless. They were going to do this rogue terrorist shit regardless. They did it under Elon with Doge. They're doing it again now in a pseudo semi-legal way because of the shutdown. They were going to do that regardless. So if you're a Democrat, it is on you to message and go to the mat and show everybody exactly who these people are. Do not let them bullshit and lie their way through as they destroy every single thing we hold dear. Hey y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop, and watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.